Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Different view today. See if I can get this set up to be better. So we are doing the live mama chat today in the truck because we have an orthodontist appointment today. And I don't know why I thought to make an appointment at 9 a.m. on a Monday or a Thursday, because that's when we mama chat, or about somewhere between 8:30 and 9. I'd like to say 8. You can leave whenever you want.
I'm getting in the back row.
You're getting in the back row so you can be part of the conversation?
No, because then I can lay down.
You have how many minutes? I don't know. Anyway, we are, how many minutes do you have?
In 12.
You have 12 minutes. You can go in there. Or you can lay in the back. Whatever you want to do. The joys. Good morning, Lori. You know, Lori, I've had cam yeast explosion. I have to go and I have to disinfect everything. So I got cam yeast on my cucumbers, which are the only cucumbers I got cam yeast on was the salad cucumbers, not the actual pickling cucumbers, but the salad cucumbers. They all had cam yeast, and I had my kombucha next to them. It didn't happen on my first round of kombucha. It happened on my second round of kombucha. Every one of them developed a cam yeast film on both of them. I was like, oh, so disappointed. So today I wanted to talk about the difference.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, it's cold.
It is cold. The difference, today's topic of the day is and of course this is me. I'm not trying to at all, be like, this is how it is, but dealing with toggling and balancing between being Martha and Mary. So I was like, man, I really should have grabbed my Bible, and thankfully I still have my Bible in yeast contamination. That's what I think too, because my kombucha was right next to my yeast, or right next to my pickles. So I'm going to wait a little bit for everybody gets in, but I'm going to go in there. I'm going to find my spot real quick. Lori, you probably can pull it up quicker. Which gospel was it where it's like Martha, be more like Mary? I don't know. So the Martha things I've been doing. So if anybody's not familiar with Martha and Mary were two sisters. Their brother was Lazarus. I feel like I know this. Balancing is something I chase all the time, right? I feel like I know the scripture, and yet I feel like I'm going to try and say it and just totally mess up. But in the Bible, so Jesus was at Martha and Mary's house, and so Martha and Mary were the host, and in that time, we do it all the time. We have people come over, and we're busy making everything right and ready for them. And so the two sisters were doing that, and Martha gets mad. Martha gets just absolutely just aggravated because Mary has just lost focus of cooking the food, preparing the dinners and all of that, to just sitting at Jesus's feet to listen, just to absorb the word. And how many times do we do stuff like this where we're like, whoa, I'm busy doing this, and you need to be over here helping me. And so Martha gets aggravated and goes to Jesus, and she's just like, I'm over here slaving. Remember, this is just Trish's version of it, not, recap. Read it for yourself. But she was just like, Jesus, I'm over here slaving, getting this stuff, and here's my sister sitting down doing nothing. Luke 10:38-48. I was in Luke 10:38-48. 10:38-48. 10:38-48. 10:38-48. 10:38. All right, here we go. It's not 48, it's 42. All right, I knew Lori would have it. All right, so here it is. Reading it right out. I'm reading the New King James Version. If you want to know what version I'm reading, I have every version. All right, so now what happened is they went that he capital H, to Jesus, entered a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him being Jesus, into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus's feet and heard Jesus's word. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she approached him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore, tell her to help me. How many times have we done that? Tell her to help me. 41 says, and Jesus answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed, and Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her. So, I love, and I think about that. And I've talked about this before on, Martha and Mary. I've talked, I don't know, over the years, Martha and Mary. I've even talked about the Proverbs 31 wife. Let me go there. Of just balancing Martha and Mary. And I feel like it's so appropriate. And I'm just not picking. But the icon of Martha to me is always Martha Stewart. And I'm not picking Martha Stewart in any means. I'm not trying to connect her biblically, Christianly, or whatever. I'm just saying an American icon of Martha is Martha Stewart. Martha is always busy, just pure hospitality, which is an example of what we should be or do or whatever. But, and I feel like in the world, and I don't even want to bring this in the world. This is just like what I've struggled this weekend. So I have been doing my Bible scriptures. I've gotten one done. I've procrastinated on Colossians because it's a whole row of Colossians. I just studied Colossians. Not really. We just had like a Bible study. And that's like really where it like hit me in there to like really focus this year and like from the rest of my days to love my neighbor and deal with myself. And it's kind of funny. I totally failed at Colossians. Yeah, I got kicked out of a homeschool co-op day one. Because of my mouth. My mouth. Everybody loves my mouth until they receive my mouth. So, it just happens. It's just those things. Just bought 5 acres in Madison County, Florida, planning on building a log home. Please pray it goes well with all the world's going on. Oh my goodness. Okay. Madison Springs is phenomenal. It's like one of my favorite places to go. I don't think I put a video up on Madison Springs that I did. Because we go through there for 4-H. And there's a 4-H camp around there. Love Madison. And the Mexican restaurant downtown, phenomenal. Just saying. The Winn-Dixie has me a little bit left to be desired, but whatever. So what I struggled with is, okay, and my ADHD kicked in, and my ADHD's a little bit all over the place too, and I probably just totally jumped subjects. Sorry, it's one of the crazy train rabbit trails of Just So Trish. So, this last week, I got out at, like, the whole last 7 days of last week, which was the third week of 2021, was not my norm. So there's a stress and anxiety of what's to come. The biggest big tech has finally captured being the largest farmland owner ever in the U.S. I don't know if you know that Bill Gates owns the most farmland. But in 2013, China actually owned most of the farmland in the United States. I don't know if you're aware of that. I have a really good friend. She's a rancher. And we were talking about things. And she's like, if you control the food, you control the people. So that sets in. There's so much going on. There's so much. And it's so easy to get caught up in fear. And it's so, so it's just like, hey, we really haven't been taking care of like stocking our food like we should. I need to work on that and focus on that. And and some of it kind of comes down to, and I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm so pointing fingers because that's what I do. Is my husband has never been on board. So building food pantries and stuff was very undermined. Not intentionally, not to be malice or anything like that. He just didn't see the value. And then after everything that happened with COVID last month, he's like having some aha moments, like, oh, I see the value. So now I have him on board. What does my hyperdrive do? Part of my balance is trying to have the home run peacefully. So I start out in the morning thinking about how, let me go back there, about how I want to have the day end. And I'm going to start my morning doing some dinner preps. That's good. Get your seeds now before we can't, before we can't. So, and I feel like the seeds were going to go quickly. And when they first came out in Walmart, I picked up next year seeds and I stuck them in the refrigerator in the other house for next year. I'm just like, those are my next year seeds. And I think that's going to become just a good general practice of doing that. But going into it, I spent this last week, I was walking 30 minutes every day. Last week, out of 7 days, I walked zero days. Out of 7 days, I journaled 1 or 2 days. I just literally forgot all things and hyper-focused into food preps, dehydrating, making more videos to teach my friends and all of that. And it's so hard because, like, I was in a state of Martha. Mode where it's just like, I need to be taking care of this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to be a little Mary-ish. So I'm loving the Blue Letter Bible. If you haven't gotten into that, I love the Blue Letter Bible. And I'm just like, I wonder if I can get y'all closer up if I do it like this. It's my husband's new truck. Because I'm going to go do some Martha work. We can never reach perfection, but we can reach progress, right? So, I was justifying, like, I've spent the week, I spent the week justifying why I can be Martha and not Mary in the moment. And I'm getting my house planned. I'm planning my portions. I'm just like Martha, justifying my Marthahood as I'm like sprinkling a little Mary to my day. And my sprinkling would be like listening to typically Chuck Smith on the Blue Letter Bible. I don't know what not plugging or anything, and I don't know what it is, but I like listening to Chuck Smith. And I'm going to tell you why I like listening to Chuck Smith. I like listening to Chuck Smith on the Blue Letter Bible when it comes to his sermons because he sounds like John Wayne. I don't know what it is. He sounds like John Wayne. And there's something about John Wayne that is very, I'm picking my nails. That's very just kind of old school comforting. It sounds like a tone. I'm used to whatever. I'm a me TV kind of person. And so I really enjoy, he has the sound of his voice. I love the sound of his voice. So yeah, I don't know what Chuck Smith looks like. I don't know if he looks like John Wayne, but he sounds like John Wayne. So I like listening to Chuck Smith. Just if you want to know the justifications. And so I was thinking about it today and yesterday as I was debating about doing, this Martha, as I'm literally trying to balance Martha and Mary. And what was else I was going to call this? I was going to call this something else. See, I ripped. Ooh, I got it good. Like I had one of those where I did the chunk out, and then you can't. My fingers are like, my fingernails look, they're blue. I started dehydrating blueberries this morning, but I was going to name it something else, but it's like literally the balance of Martha and Mary. And then it had me thinking, as I was thinking, of Proverbs 31. All right, yeah, we're going to go there. I did a really good one, and I probably should. It's a horrible video on the aspect that I didn't have air conditioning. The window was open. The cicadas were screaming, and I had poor video quality. And I literally, like, line by line item modernized the Proverbs 31 wife. I don't know if I even, in my perspective, because in the other aspect, it's like, I don't even, but anyway. So my only thing is, like, when I deal with Proverbs 31 wife, it's hard not to become a Martha or to justify the Martha in that. So it says, let me get to Proverbs. Who can find a virtuous wife? I know, I'm going to read it. I think my battery's dying already. We will never, my battery's dying. Who can find a virtuous wife, for her worth is far above rubies? Of course, that's what we want to be. You know, anyways, I'm not going to get into it. But, like, all of her days, she seeks wool and flax, you know, so she's shopping, willingly works with her hands. More Martha. And she's like merchant ship. She brings food from afar. She rises while yet it's still dark. She provides food for her household. She provides portions for those that help her. I'm just ad-libbing this. This is not, you know, this is the Just So Trish version. You know what I'm saying. She considers her field, so she's buying, and, you know, she's making profit. She's running a business, and, she girds herself in strength and strengthens her arm. She keeps, her lamp doesn't go out. She stretches out her hands, and, like, all of this is Martha, absolute Martha. And she extends her hands to the poor, so she's busy doing. She's not afraid of snow for her household, and for all her household is clothed. She makes tapestries. Her clothing is beautiful. Her husband is known. She makes linen garments and sells them. I mean, come on, how much more Martha can we get? She strengthens and honors her clothing. She shall rejoice in the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. Yeah, so then we get in 26, we get a little Mary in here. She does not eat the bread of idleness. We're back to Martha. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband does so. Well, that's our affirmation. I'm sorry, but when I get into, sorry, I gotta fix this. There we go. Okay. So when you get into that, that's all kind of Martha. And it's so hard, like, as you're living and you're trying to do, and fight that balance of becoming Martha versus Mary. And you got Proverbs 31, like, oh, I want to be all this, you know, wait, am I busy being Martha or am I busy being Mary? And it's that constant fight of that balance. And I feel like I gave last week to Martha, my Martha side, and I really worked hard on finding my where I want to go, what's my plan in my food storage. You know, I got a lot done, and at the same time, my goal isn't to do it all at once. I feel like we need to be prepared. We need to be ready. I feel like food insecurities is going to become something of an issue in the coming future. I don't think it's this week. And I don't think it's this week that, you know, things are going to flip. I think it's going to be more like, have you ever heard the proverb about boiling live frogs? Do you know how you boil live frogs so they don't jump out of the pot? And you do that by making it, you put them in a water, they're comfortable, and then you slowly change the heat so they keep acclimating to the change until they haven't noticed, so they don't notice it change into the point that they boil. And I feel like that's the devil's plan. You know, the devil's plan is to make us comfortable with these tiny little changes to the point that we don't realize where we're at and what has happened. And with that, I just feel like we got to be ready and be prepared. So I'm like, I've given that part. I gave all last week to Martha. So now let me balance my Martha and Mary. So today we're going to go buy shelving so I can get all the stuff out of my house that I bought this last week, and begin preparing my pantry storage. Really start getting a mindset of how I'm going to, my goal is not to put stuff in the pantry and not look at it until like all things hit the fan and I need it. My goal is to use it continuously. So to have that revolving storage. So I'm taking things out and replacing it and then adding to it. I'm focusing this week on flour. Well, I'm dehydrating everything because it's just so much easier. So I finished up, I dehydrated just the frozen things. And one of the things, and I'm going to get into this, and I'm trying to make a whole playlist on just large family food storage. So large family food storage, thinking about dehydrating. And what I really like about dehydrating, and here's something to think about. When I buy the 84-cent bag of frozen vegetables, it actually costs me every day I keep it, because I have to keep the freezer running. And so the longer you have it, actually the more expensive it becomes. Granted, you're going to have the freezer going anyways, but the idea is if you can make it shelf stable, it doesn't cost you money the longer you keep it. So that's just like something to think about, making more things shelf stable and moving stuff out. So I just posted a video of the unboxing I did. Oh, it's getting hot and I can't roll down the window. The sun is baking me. The unboxing I did on the new Nesco, I'm really loving that. It is so stinking quiet. I don't even feel like I'm running it. And what my favorite part about dehydrating is I put it in, I leave it in, and I leave it alone and I ignore it. And then I come back, like the next day or the day after, and my stuff is done. So I'm working on that. So it's not that I haven't. So you're going to start seeing a lot of large family pantry items because that's what I'm working on. I'm trying to just find the best way to balance homeschool. I'm going to tell you, 10 years in, something's always changing. It's always a balancing act. And yeah. So if you have any questions or you have any things, let me know. I'm keeping this short today at 22 minutes, not an hour, because I got to go in and check on her and make sure everything's okay. But tell me how you're doing on that constant balancing of Martha and Mary. I know we all struggle with it, but yeah. So I'm gonna talk to y'all soon. Gotta go check on my kid. I love y'all. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. I will see you Thursday around this time. Until then.